Hello everyone. What This is Ross. This is a video that I'm not sure how to start it or really talk on it because it's very personal to me, like very personal to me. But yeah, basically, I'm just gonna try and go through it. I'm gonna be talking about pain and how I need to give people love. I'll go from my heart. Yeah. It's very personal to me, and it's kind of weird in a way that people started making vids and stuff. Like people started making vids and stuff on this sort of subject. And I guess in some ways it's been etching at my subconscious. And there's a lesson I learned the real hard way, like in some ways firsthand. Basically, when people commit crime or end up in insane asylums, so like mental institutions and stuff, or end up in prison, the only reason they are there, the only real problem they have is that they can't accept the way things are. So yeah, like they can't accept what they feel, their true sense of reality. So they mask it, maybe with drugs or with a crime with their actions. Any person who is suffering acts. Any person who is suffering is not acting in a sane manner. This doesn't just go for criminals, but or insane people. It could be anyone, you know. You could be doing your job or something. But basically, the only sanity in this world is when you put your state of being first, state of feeling first. You know, so you are more whole within every moment and you participate in. You know? If you deny your current reality and you mask it and you just don't want to face it, you know, or what you feel in your true sense of reality, you know, well, you're in pain, you know, you're suffering, you know, because you don't want to go there. It hurts that much. But the weird, crappy thing about society is, and people may have a break in consciousness, like, you know, split, you know, the pineal gland might rupture or some shit, and they'll go insane, or they end up in prison. Be ostracized. I told them it's their fault when in a sense they were just doing what, in some ways they were conditioned to do, what they saw was the best part. There's a saying by this rapper dude, Calix Scientific, or I got it off his music tracks anyway. It says, if you know better, you do better. If you don't, you won't. You know? Like, we punish these people for ignorance that was created by, you know, what they saw, you know, what the conditioners said. They didn't know any better. You know? And we ostracize them. I mean, me personally, I don't know criminal record or anything, but you know, I've had the past, you know, growing up psychic. You know, that was pretty fucked. I mean, when you're a kid and you don't understand anything, and you start to get really early on that not really anyone is having these experiences like you. You find it not only ostracizing and weird and a bit full on because you can't understand the, you know, depths and the extremes of the experiences. But that turmoil and I guess your sense of inner knowing gets you in a lot of shit physically because people aren't as in tune. They're not in some ways they can be seen as a bit barbaric in some ways. So when you stand up, what is right, your intentions are always right. But the way you go about it can be a bit stubborn, you know. You get yourself into a bit of shit, you know. That's another thing. Like we always can look at what the other person's done, but we can never look at what we've done ourselves or what they've been through themselves to perpetrate, like, what you consider wrongdoing. You know, we don't really think outside of ourselves, you know. And it's funny because then when we treat them as criminals or insane people or whatever, you know, we only think about the bad things they've done to us. We never really look at what has happened to them, why they act the way they're acting. We never give them the understanding, the support, love. You know? That's the thing that these people need more than anything. It's not, you know, shut up, take these pills, or, you know, shut up, go to sleep. Hopefully they don't get stabbed in the morning, sort of a thing. Prison or, like, you know, mental institution. They don't need that. They don't need ostracization so much. Apparently in Africa, when there's a tribe, when a dude commits a crime or something, they take him out to the desert and they'll sink for him or some shit. You know, and they're like, that's fucking beautiful. And they make him come back and feel the humanity, you know, that he sort of lost. And they make him feel like a part of the tribe. Now that is fucking beautiful. That is humane. That's thinking. That's taking the current situation, right? The devolved part of the situation, in the sense that the ignorant acting out of the situation, and like taking and showing them some intelligence, showing them some humanity, showing them where they come from, who they are, where they're going. That to me is beautiful, you know? And like you can't get any better than that. You know? These people, they don't need to be ostracized, to be labeled as they've got the problem. And they're just doing it in a sense that they've been showing, or they've been shown, or like, because they're in denial of such reality. I mean, that's how much pain they're in. They can't accept reality, so then they start denying it. Then they start to see breaks in the stream of reality, or the thought forms or whatever, because they're denying it that much. They can't handle reality. That's how much shit they've been through, in a sense. So they go off on their own little tangent on what they think is reality, or they just lose coherence with reality whatsoever. That's how much pain they're in. And instead of, you know, us nurturing them, getting them back to where they are, we're just like, hey, take these meds, shut the fuck up. You're the one with the problem. You know? It's not like society gave you this impression of this is this and this is that. You know? So we taught you to believe this is ego. That's the end result of ego, really. Because all ego is, in a sense, is denial of the current situation. It's like it's justification with an opinion to deny your current situation, the current feeling of it anyway, the current reality of it. That's what ego is. Ego is a primitive tool that well, actually, I couldn't agree. It's very primitive. Like, it's pretty much the reason why we could kill. And no same person can really kill. You know, if you're in tune and you're loving and everything, you can't kill. You know, you can kill if you say, well, I had to do it because of this. But you can't sit there and be like, yeah, I just killed a person, and like, I'm totally fine with it, and I just fucked up the person. I just killed a bloody giant boar or some shit, you know. It's used as a way to survive, you know, in winter and all this sort of stuff. And yeah. Like, I was telling you all earlier, you know, we should make drugs legal, you know. People should understand and respect it more. Yeah, the curiosity should drop or whatever. Or something like that. And if you've been following me on Facebook, you know how I feel about this thing. Like, these people deserve love. They deserve understanding more than anyone. You know? Drugs is sort of the same issue. When a person denies the reality and uses drugs, there's a justification to use drugs, you know? They deny the pain, they deny the thing, they run away from it, and they use drugs. That's similar to a crime in some sense. You know, you're acting out, you know? But apparently what Portugal has done, and they've more than half their drug problem, is they've made all drugs legal. Look at that. And basically they've treated it as a public health issue. And bam, the people were rehabilitated and they got the support, I guess, you know. That is a fucking wicked and benevolent, positive idea. You know? These people deserve love more than anyone. You know, these people are so in so much pain that they see no sense. They have no sense anymore. They're numb to it now. And what do? We just make them more numb to it by bloody putting them in isolation or fucking pilling them up, in a sense, you know, or like getting them in situations where they could potentially kill themselves or something, you know. We don't show them love. You know, you say that you love all of humanity. You can't look at these criminals. You want to like kill these criminals or people who've hurt you, you know. And it's in some ways it's painful because like they're the ones who are acting out. They're the ones who see no hope. That's so much pain in it. They see no positive way out. They see no positive change for themselves. And all these people have to help themselves at the end of the day. You know? I mean, me myself, when I went through what I went through a couple of years back, they said, you're not getting out of here. And that's right. And I said to myself every day, no, I'm getting out of here. And I wasn't a criminal in this, so I can sort of guess what I went through. I don't want to talk about it. You know, I was more there for myself. It was funny because I was at my lowest point and I found my guru and he showed me the path. You know? If it wasn't for him, like, I have no doubt in my head that I probably would have killed myself or something. And it's funny because, you know, born psychic, I was so proud. You know, I've always been annoying. But even a person like me with all these gifts and stuff can lose hope. It's kind of scary actually. You know? Yeah. But we denied them. We denied their reality. We denied their pain. We suppress it and repress it. And we say, look, you're fucked up. You are fucked up. You're not in pain. You're just fucked up. You're not normal. So when a person's in pain, it's not normal for them to really run away. That's what you're taught to do in this society. You're taught to work a 9-to-5 job, get all stressed out with that shit, come home, fucking crack a few beers, so that your bloody home life doesn't fucking stress you the fuck out. Then by the weekend you get totally fucking maggot or you smoke some ganja or some shit. And you suppress your emotions of feeling even more. So then by the time the next week comes around you feel charged up, but then it just hits you even harder eventually. And if you're really stuck in a cycle, it eventually hits you harder and harder, and the drug use gets harder and harder, until one day you just get fed up and you're like, fuck it, and you face reality, or you fall down, and you just keep using drugs, or you focus more on work, and you become neurotic or some shit, you know? And that to me is insanity. You know? And you think you're different than these criminals? Who are doing the same thing, they're just denying their pain that they feel in their reality. They're just having more of a hard time with it because they've never been shown any better. You know? The problem for some of you people, like, a lot of people at work, they blame these people on welfare or people that's got to pay taxes to support. But really, that's not helping. That's not doing anything in the state of being. You know. And the people who don't work and everything, they blame the government and everything, or whatever. That's got nothing to do with the state of being. You can always change how you react to a situation, which in turn changes the situation. You know, if you sit there and get all worked up and tense and narrow your focus, you're not going to really get out of the situation to help yourself, are you? If you sit there, take the time out, breathe, and start to observe. You know, like, you can probably think yourself through the situation and get out of there if you just apply yourself to it. Or you can attract things to you with, I guess, positive thinking or whatever, you know. You never know. You know? Mm. But most people aren't showing this sort of stuff. They're not showing how to think for themselves, how to empower themselves, how to relax. And it comes back down to acceptance, relax, relaxation, accepting reality. Once you can accept what you see, you can fucking like, you can, once you accept what you see, once you accept the reality of the situation, you can gauge it better. You know? So once you start meditating or whatever, getting your own weird ways of meditation, and you accept what you see, you gauge it better, you can assess the situation better, and you can perform better in the situation. You know, this is going for 16 minutes. I hope you enjoyed. It's a bit slow, this video, but it's 4 AM and I promise I'll make this video. Much love.